This evening, the government launched a multi-billion-dollar strategy to address long-term flooding across the country. Police investigating an alleged murder of a Venezuelan national at Cores Backdam. Ministry of Education held its inaugural Autism acceptance outreach. In the region, Cuba economic crisis and political crackdown pushes many to immigrate, and internationally, businesses in China struggle due to COVID restrictions. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. The authorities are looking into the alleged murder of a Venezuelan national whose body was recovered in Region 7's Cores Backdam. Esther Sobers has more details.
The police in Regional Division Number 7 are investigating an alleged murder of a 49-year-old Venezuelan national whose body was discovered at Cores Backdam entering bank on Tuesday, April 26. The woman has been identified as Desi Antri Pedorno, a clothes vendor of Bank Landing Cayuni River. The incident was said to have taken place between April 23rd and 26th. Investigations conducted up to news time revealed that the deceased woman also did pork knocking in the said Cores Backdam, along with two Venezuelan nationals and her reputed husband, Vladimir Marquez. Reports are that on April 22nd, 2022, the reputed husband went to Venezuela. On April 23, 2022, people saw Pernodo leaving the Backdam in the company of two other men. They were later seen in Bank Landing together, grocery shopping and imbibing alcohol before heading in the Backdam towards the direction of their camp. According to reputed husband Marquez, he returned from Venezuela on April 26 but could not make contact with his wife. He became alarmed and a search party began to search the area. The deceased body was found in a 4-foot wide hole, partly covered with mud and dry leaves. Upon examination, multiple chop wounds were evident on her body. Checks made for the two Venezuelan men revealed that they were last seen on Sunday, April 24th. The reputed husband is in custody assisting with investigation. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The government has embarked on a $32 billion transformational plan to provide a long-term solution to flooding countrywide. The announcement was made by Vice President Dr. Barry Jagdeo at Dundee Maikoni during a community meeting on Wednesday. The discussion comes on the heels of a recent consultation held at the Arthur Chung Convention Center to discuss strategic flooding interventions in the regions 2, 3, 5, and 6. Chairman of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority, Lionel Wordsworth, highlighted proposals intended to improve the drainage system to tackle flooding in Region 5. He explained that when there is a rainfall of the magnitude the country experienced mid-last year, the rivers are swollen and water overflows the embankments, resulting in flooding. Government, through the NDIA, proposes to rehabilitate the Mahaiko Creek embankment and upgrade existing channels to take water directly into the Atlantic Ocean. Also, the creation of new outlets and improved pump and drainage capacity could resolve the situation. Additionally, the government will dredge the Mahaika, Maikoni, and Abari river mouths. The government is also examining several proposals made by residents to address flooding. A taxi driver has been remanded to prison for the offense of robbery under arms committed against a West Coast of Demerara businessman, as the Sobers explains.
Armed robbery accused Tariq Manowar Khan, a 22-year-old taxi driver of West Romville, Georgetown, was remanded to prison when he appeared at the Breeden Hook Magistrate Court on Wednesday, April 27th. Khan was arrested on April 22nd, 2022 and charged with the offense of robbery under arms committed on Crane businessman Ren Prasad. The businessman was robbed of 12 gold chains valued $1.5 million. The incident took place at the Rhythm Flow Chill Spot at Crane Housing Scheme, West Coast Demerara, by 3 identifiable males, 2 of whom were armed with small handguns. The armed robbery accused appeared before Principal Magistrate Faith Magosti, where the charge was read to him, and he was not required to plead and remanded to prison. The matter was postponed to May 23, 2022 for a report. Also appearing in court on Wednesday, April 27th, was a 36-year-old man, Warren Harris of Tushin East Bank, Essequibo. He was charged and sentenced to 8 months in prison for the offense of cultivating prohibited plants. Harris was arrested by police ranks on April 26 for planting and cultivating several marijuana plants. He appeared before Magistrate Zamina Ali C. Paul at the Lenore Magistrate Court where he pleaded guilty to the offense and was sentenced to 8 months in prison. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Stick around after the break. Ministry of Education held its inaugural Autism Acceptance Outreach, and Linden will shortly see the start of a huge infrastructure improvement program by the Ministry of Public Works.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality, men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Backdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
Welcome back. The Special Education Needs Unit of the Ministry of Education held its inaugural Autism Acceptance Outreach today, as the Sobers was there and files this report.
The Special Education Needs Unit of the Ministry of Education held its inaugural Autism Acceptance Outreach today. The ceremony, which was part of the ministry's recognition of Autism Week, took place at the Kingston's National Center of Educational Resources compound. Headline News met with the event's Ministry of Education Coordinator, Shave Hopkinson, who described today's event.
Here today we have different support services being offered. We are firstly, engaging persons in what we call the information session, where we tell them about autism and signs and its effects, and also how teachers and parents can work with children with autism. We have an activity center area where we would have physical engagements with learners and their teachers to show how we have more inclusive resources that can be used in our schools. We have collaboration with the Ministry of Health and our own school support unit, offering services such as eye testing and ear testing and giving referrals for persons who may need. We also have the Health International Services offering, giving their contribution today also for anyone who need other medical testing, and that is free of course.
Autistic children have a unique requirements that should be facilitated. For parents who may be observing a particular behavior trait in a child, Ms. Hopkinson stated that the evident signs...
Some of the signs that parents or caregivers can observe is children most times being focused on one particular thing, not focusing or caring too much of the emotions of others and their emotions, not making too much eye contact. Their language may be delayed and some may be nonverbal. So those are some of the observable signs that caregivers and parents can observe at very early stages.
Several booths depicted further information on autism and various games that children can play.
Children with special needs use to help them with grasping different concepts and so on. And for instance, we have the abacus, the number mat, and other aids that help us with our number concepts. There's also the sensory puzzle blocks, our magnifying glass. There's a portable visual schedule there that our children with visual impairment use on a daily basis to help them at school.
The objective of World Autism Awareness Day and this outreach is to raise awareness about the difficulties that people with autism and those who live with them face on a daily basis. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. The Ministry of Public Works will soon begin a massive infrastructure development program in Region 10, Upper Demerara, Berbice. The project will see several roads in Linden refurbished at a cost of over $600 million. Minister of Public Works, Bishop Juan Edgehill, inspected the roads to be refurbished in the industrial area, Caracara, Amelia's Ward, Silver City, and Block 22 areas. Minister Edgehill said the intervention stems from concerns raised by citizens during Vice President Barry Jagdeu's outreach in Linden last month. The minister said the tendering process for the project would commence shortly, after which works will begin. Additionally, Minister Edgehill said the ministry is finalizing the program for Sub-District 2, Kukwani, Hururu, and Landersville, and Sub-District 1, Wismar and Mackenzie, the road to Moritaro and Malali, among others. The minister went on to state that the minimum amount to be spent on internal roads in Kukwani is $200 million. These projects will be done as part of the ministry's 2022 Hinterland Work Plan. A sum of $76.7 billion was set aside in this year's national budget to improve roads and bridges countrywide. Don't go away after the break. Cuba's economic crisis and political crackdown push many to immigrate, and Indonesia's plan to ban palm oil exports fuels price surge. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality, men's and women's clothing. Play in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. simply different.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Maison Francois is the chocolate paradise of Guyana. From the moment you enter our store, you are welcomed by the sweet aroma of Belgian chocolate, pastries and other artisanal treats handmade by our European-trained chef. Our convenient location at the City Mall is the perfect place to take that special someone or to take home a little sweetness. So treat yourself with a taste of Paris in the heart of Georgetown, only at Maison Francois.
Sooner or later you will have another power failure. Are you prepared for the next blackout? Some essential equipment such as security cameras, lights, internet, gate motors, and water pumps may stop working. How can you prevent the next blackout? InverterTech has an affordable solution for you. A strong UPS system which uses the latest inverter and solar battery technology to prevent blackout. We smartly calculate your average power demand so you don't spend more than you need to. Call 223-2233 for more information.
In a world filled with copycats and ever-changing trends, make your property stand out with unique concrete moldings. Different, exquisite designs carefully handcrafted to suit your style, with various customizable and antique and modern designs made at our factory. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment. We make your property outstanding. We make and install all moldings anywhere in Guyana. The best quality, affordable prices, on-the-spot quotes, and no hidden fees. Call us or WhatsApp us at 684-5050 or email us at modernestab@gmail.com. Antique and Modern Molding Establishment, made to stand out.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 46 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brickdam and White Castle Fish Shop. Be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Cuba is experiencing the largest exodus of people this century, driven mainly by a worsening economy. The government blames the U.S. economic embargo. Al Jazeera's Lucia Newman reports.
76-year-old Julian Gonzalez has been making shoes by hand since he was 12.
I made this pair as a gift to my son's friend.
That friend will be giving him temporary room and board in Argentina, to where he is about to migrate. He tells me it will be hard to leave behind his home, even though it is literally falling apart. His children and his wife migrated long ago, but he never wanted to leave Cuba. Until now.
For the last 60 years, our leadership has told us that things will improve, that we'll overcome all obstacles. But we see the contrary. Every day things get worse. We have less food, more social problems.
Senor Gonzalez is lucky. He has a visa to enter his country of destination. vast majority of Cubans don't. So they try to fly first to Nicaragua, the only country where Cubans can enter freely. But to get there, they need to transit through Panama, which is now demanding a transit visa. Cubans from all over the country wait near the Panamanian embassy to apply, the majority in vain. Genovevo Camejo has been out here for 23 days.
I'm a human being and I look all around and can't understand that any human being can be treated like this. I feel humiliated.
At the airport, another equally desperate group has become the latest victim of a scam, an alleged travel agency that sold them tickets for a non-existent charter flight to Nicaragua.
Everyone you see here, the whole family was leaving today.
And what were you going to do when you arrived in Nicaragua, I ask?
Many of us have nowhere to go because we've sold the house, everything.
Cuba's economic crisis has unleashed the largest exodus since 1980, when former President Fidel Castro allowed 120,000 Cubans to sail to Florida. Cuba's government blames the Trump and Biden administrations for the latest crisis.
Their recipe is to tighten the economic embargo on Cuba to provoke more hardships on Cuban families, reduce salaries, provoke hunger and desperation, and the overthrow of our government.
Since Cuba's government repressed an unprecedented social uprising by disgruntled Cubans last July, the exodus has increased. This despite the new obstacles placed by Panama, which appears to be cooperating with U.S. efforts to reduce the influx of undocumented Cubans. Whatever the reason, Cubans are telling us that they feel trapped. And as a result, many are resorting to a far more dangerous method that hadn't been seen since the 1990s, and that is to attempt to cross the shark-infested Florida Straits that you see behind me in a raft or in a boat in an attempt to make it to the United States. In 1994, during the so-called rafters crisis, nearly 40,000 Cubans attempted to sail to Florida, many drowning in the process. Today, history is beginning to be repeated. Back at the airport, the lucky few who have managed to get a transit visa prepared to leave Cuba, final destinations still unknown. But the pain of leaving their loved ones behind is agonizing, a scene that is being repeated all over this Caribbean island. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Havana.
Internationally, it has been a month since China's most populous city, Shanghai, went into lockdown because of a COVID-19 outbreak. Businesses are struggling because of the freeze in production, Al Jazeera's Catherine Yu reports.
This factory on the outskirts of Shanghai normally produces around 300,000 bicycles every month. It counts US department store Walmart among its many international clients. But because of a strict coronavirus lockdown, it's been forced to close for 4 weeks. Confined to his home, manager Lei Ge worries about his 2,000 workers and his bottom line.
To be honest, it's very difficult for them. I would like to pay a little bit more, but you know, the loss for the company is also big. I don't know how am I going to survive after this, but I will try to survive after this.
Authorities in Shanghai say a new round of testing will decide whether neighborhoods can begin opening up. Most of the city's 25 million residents remain locked down. It sparked anger and protest in the commercial center. Here, people are heard banging pots and pans from their apartment windows. One woman screams, "Give me back my freedom." Still, Chinese leaders insist on maintaining a zero COVID-19 policy.
They are trying to contain the public discontent, but we are still working with a Leninist system, which means that it is the target that has been set by the top leadership, which is of paramount importance for cadres responsible for any of those specific policies. Public discontent comes much lower in the list of priorities for them to meet.
There have been complaints of food shortages, the separation of families, and the killing of pets by health workers. But analysts say any political blame is likely to fall on low-level officials, not President Xi Jinping or top Beijing ministers. In the capital, authorities are doing all they can to prevent a citywide lockdown. People have stocked up on supplies, bracing for the results of 3 rounds of mass testing conducted this week. More than 100 infections have been recorded, resulting in the closure of some schools, entertainment venues, and tourist sites. Dozens of neighborhoods have been barricaded. The heavy-handed measures resemble those imposed during the early days of the pandemic. More than 2 years on, many are questioning whether the cure is worse than the disease itself. Katrina Yu, Al Jazeera, Beijing.
And finally, Indonesia is the world's top producer of palm oil. Its prices has reached record highs recently due to the impact the war in Ukraine is having on exports. The government is planning on banning exports to secure domestic supplies of cooking oil. The move has, however, sent prices soaring even farther. Al Jazeera's Jessica Washington reports.
In Jakarta's south, some of the country's most popular dishes can be found in this small kitchen. Fried chicken, fried fish and fried tofu. Almost everything on the menu has one ingredient in common: palm oil. Endang Setianingsi opened this restaurant 30 years ago, but now she's worried she could lose customers.
The unstable price of cooking oil affects my business. When it was scarce, it was difficult. Now it's available but expensive. It's so challenging for small businesses.
Palm oil is the world's most widely used edible oil. For months, concerns about price and availability have been growing in Indonesia, despite the country being the top producer. Now the government is banning palm oil exports, including crude and refined palm oil.
I understand the state needs taxes along with foreign exchange, and the country needs a trade balance surplus. But meeting the people's primary needs is more important. It's a priority.
The move has shocked global markets. The price of cooking oil has been rising around the world for a number of reasons: disruptions in production, increasing demand for biofuels, and the war in Ukraine, the world's largest exporter of sunflower oil. Experts say the latest move by the Indonesian government is likely to push prices even higher. Palm oil is also used in processed foods, cosmetics, cleaning products and more. Economists say the government's strategies to normalize cooking oil prices have been misguided, focusing on supply rather than problems within the industry.
It may not solve the problem because, again, the problem with the cooking oil in the Indonesian market right now is actually in the distribution channel. There's a bottleneck, because of this complex and long, distribution channel.
The Indonesian Farmers Association says its members will also suffer.
This time period should give momentum to the government to reform the palm oil industry and its production model. Right now it's run by big companies and they set the distribution of palm oil material according to the market.
The government intends the ban to remain until prices reach around 97 cents per litre at traditional markets in Indonesia, but it's unclear whether this policy will achieve that. Jessica Washington, Al Jazeera, Jakarta.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. that is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in on Friday at 5:30 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.